Yes. So this is first three questions. Yes, so many things. Okay. Thirty-four to 36 questions. Yeah. So go through these questions 31 to 33 first. Study these questions, then we'll discuss. Because these will be lengthy sometimes. Yes. Yeah. So now here there is a technique that we have to follow some things. Let us find the technique. What we are going to do is question by question analysis. So in this question by question analysis, you will know everything clearly. Yeah. First one. Let us take the first question here. What does Dr. Professor Grohman believe to be the problem with induced labor? So what does Professor Grohman believe to be the problem with induced labor? So induced means induction, means given. Deducted means taken. Induced means given. Positive means provided, means forced or made artificial, not natural. Okay. So what does Professor Grohman believe to be problem with induced labor? Induced, inductive. Okay. So you should know the meaning of this word. If you don't know the meaning of this word, it is going to be a tough battle for you. So induced. Induce. To persuade someone to do something external, not natural. You are persuading them to do something. Forced labor. Okay. So making them to do it. External influence. Induce is a formal word, very powerful word. Use it. You persuade someone to do something is called induced. Okay. For example, you can say medication compliance was induced. Induced. Past tense. Okay. So you persuaded something, them to do something, that is induced. Okay. Inductive. Okay. Induction. Okay. An occasion where someone is formally introduced, a period during which a new member of an organization, the act of causing an event or process to happen. So inducive. Okay. Induced labor means forced labor, external influence. You are causing the event to happen, or your act of causing an event or process to happen. So the induction of labor, see here. The induction of labor, causing something to happen, formal. Okay, try to understand this one, very powerful word. Induced means forced. So this is external influence. Labor is not happening, so you are inducing them to get the labor. Okay, you are making them through external influence, maybe through medication, maybe or some other motivation or something else. So that is it. So it's not natural. So if you realize like this, it will be where the word is induced labor. Induced. Problem with labor, nothing. But induced labor, there is a problem. So what does Dr. Grohman believe to be the problem with induced labor? Induced. This is very important here. Okay. Very important here. Yes. Right. So induced is very important. Okay, remember that. So labor, no problem. But problem with induced labor. So there is a problem with induced labor. So this is the point here. This is the point. So according to Grohman, other things are not important. Okay. Labor is common in obstetrics and gynecology. So induced labor is artificial one. It's not natural. So if it is artificial, it is unnatural. It is not ordinary, it's extraordinary, it's not normal, it's abnormal, it's not usual, it's unusual, it's not regular, it's irregular, it's not common, it's uncommon. So it's against the natural system. Okay, fine. Now here, what problem is there if you force something like this? Okay, you are causing the event to happen, causing the labor to happen. So that it inevitably leads to cesarean section. Problem is cesarean. Inevitably, you should know the meaning of the word inevitably. It's important. It may be useful here. It may be useful somewhere else also. Inevitably means definitely. Inevitable, a certain to happen and unable to be avoided or prevented. Inevitable means cannot prevent. Inevitably, in a way that cannot be avoided. It cannot be avoided. That's point. In a way that cannot be avoided. It's a C1 word. Inevitable is a C1 word. Note it down. Inevitable is C1 vocabulary. Yeah. So C1 vocabulary, remember that. It's very powerful. It's very useful. Means cannot be avoided. So cesarean section cannot be avoided. Induced labor leads to definitely, inevitably means definitely, means cannot be avoided. Unavoidably, irrefutably, undeniably. These are the synonyms of this word. Undeniably, irrefutably, undoubtedly, unavoidable. Okay. So that's a powerful word here. Write down this, very important. So problem with induced labor is compulsory cesarean. Inevitably means compulsory. Leads to means result in. Write down leads to means result in. Leads to means result in. Yesterday we have seen result in. Today we are seeing leads to. Okay. So these are the important words. Induced means forced through external influence, causing something. That a belief was built on the basis of misunderstanding of certain results. That a belief was built on the basis of misunderstanding of certain results. Belief, myth, was built on the basis of misunderstanding. So this is a misunderstanding of certain results. So this is also important. So problem, there is a misunderstanding. Based on these misunderstandings, misconception, misconception. Okay, misunderstanding, mistake can Okay, misunderstanding, not correct. Okay, misunderstanding, you know better. Misunderstanding, what it is. And some people say you don't understand properly, that's a misunderstanding. You try to say something, people don't understand, they believe that you are wrong, that is a misunderstanding. You try to explain them because they misunderstood you, because you are not able to convey properly. The message is mistakenly understood in a wrong way. That is it. Because of certain results. That the procedure has not been performed correctly. So that the procedure has not been performed correctly. So problem with induced labor is that the procedure has not been performed correctly. This is performance. So incorrect performance. They don't do it properly. Induced labor, they don't do it properly. So here, yeah, here it is a belief. He's talking about a common belief. Here he's talking about the procedure. Okay. So it's a definite, inevitably leads to, it's definite. So he's talking that problem with induced labor will lead to cesarean section. Try to understand this. Afterwards, it will be very easy. If you can do questions, 50 questions like this at least, then afterwards it will be very easy for you. So try to analyze the question first before answering. So what does Professor Grohman believe to be the problem? The problem is it may result in cesarean section, compulsory cesarean. Number two, belief, misunderstanding on results. Procedure, incorrect performance. So this is about practical, this is about mental, this is about physical. See there. The first one is that inevitably leads to cesarean section. This is practical. This is practical. First one is practical. And second one, belief, was built on the basis of misunderstanding of certain. This is mental. Mental factors. Practical means reality. Second one is mental, means doubtful. Third one is that the procedure has not been performed correctly. This is physical. Physical action. Or you can say, so this is only mental, second one. This is physical. Physically they have done, but they did not, it was not correct. Practically it's definitely result in, okay. So this is about, the first one is about reality. Reality, and it inevitably means really. Compulsory, definitely, guaranteed. Inevitably means surely. Then second one, a belief was built on the basis of misunderstanding of certain. This is belief. This is concept, conceptual misunderstanding. Okay. So this is about mental state, mental. So belief, thinking, brain. This is related to brain, mental action. And this is the experience in reality, that the procedure has not been performed correctly. This is accuracy. Accuracy, not correctly. Correct, accurate, inaccurate. So try to understand this. These are the ways how you can differentiate. Otherwise, you can take like this also. That is inevitably leads to cesarean section, that end product, result. Leads to means result. Then next one, that a belief was built on the basis of misunderstanding of certain results. These are thoughts, imaginations. Imaginations. And this is that the procedure has not been performed correctly. This is the performance. So this is the way how you can analyze. Based on this one, we can think about the question. Okay, that's fine. Right. Next, number 2. Question number 2. The population undergoing induced labor are described as biased. Because biased. Biased means what? The population undergoing induced labor are described as biased. Now, what is this biased? Why are they described as biased? Why are they described as biased? Biased means because. Because means reason. This is cause and effect. They are told that they are biased because why? Biased. What do you mean by biased? If you don't know the meaning, by means to. They are biased means, see for example, some people, if you say gender biased, okay, gender disparity, boys or girls, some people prefer boys, some people prefer girls. So gender biased, that means they are partial. Okay, they are partial. So partiality, indifference. So biased means they have a differential opinion. They are not right. They are not right. They are not correct. They are incorrect. Okay, they are biased people because now let us see what is biased here. Learn these words, very important and very powerful. Biased is a C1 vocabulary. Somebody please write down these words because I don't have time. I don't trust anybody. I'll write it myself. Because we are trying to find some new words. Write them. So we have the word biased. Note it down in your notebook. Biased. Yeah. So showing an unreasonable or a dislike for a person based on personal opinions. That is biased. Some people say this is not right. Why this is not right? They will not tell. This is he is not right. They will say. Why is biased opinion? Because the boss did not favor him. He say boss is not good. Finished. So personal opinions. That's all. On personal based or personal opinions, showing an unreasonable like. Just why he is not good? Because he did not help me. Okay. For example, in the house we see husband and wife. You are not good. Why? Because you are not listening to me. That means if you listen to me, you are good. If you don't listen to me, you are bad. That's it. So that is an unreasonable like or dislike, biased attitude. Okay. Right? So that's it. Whenever somebody does good, we'll say they are good to us. If it is against us, we'll say they are bad. So that is called a biased opinion. Okay, if you do good also, others should suppose. But if you do bad, others should oppose. That is natural. But if you say you are doing bad things and somebody is objecting it, that means he's bad. So that is not, that's an unreasonable like or dislike for a person based on personal opinions. That is biased attitude. So that's it, personal opinion, that's all. So the population undergoing induced labor are described as biased because why? Why? There was a greater number of women who underwent induced labor. If you know the meaning of this, you will understand which answer is right. You need not go to the question also. There was a greater number of women who underwent induced labor when compared with those who did not. There was a greater number of women who underwent induced labor when compared with those who did not. This is comparison. You can see here. This is comparison. So you can see it very clearly. Who underwent induced labor, greater number of women who underwent labor when compared with those who did not. So try to understand greater. So induced labor counts were greater than normal deliveries. Okay. So normal deliveries. Induced deliveries, induced labor, normal labor. So induced labor were greater. And greater number of women wanted induced labor. Okay, that's what it is. There was a greater number of women who underwent induced labor when compared with those who did not undergo induced labor. So induced labor, women were more. Non-induced labor, that means natural, common labor. Okay, that is less. So that's why he's telling, is it biased? The difference in the gestational age between the two groups. Okay, the difference in the gestational age between the two groups. Gestational age, you know what is gestational age between the two groups. Okay, so the difference. Induced labor groups and non-induced labor groups. The difference in the gestation. This is the number only. This is the number. Okay, greater number, but the difference between gestational age between the two groups. Between the two groups. They had a medical problem that made inducing labor an indication. They had a medical problem that made inducing labor an indication. So medical problem. So try to understand here, which may be the right answer. Okay, you got a clear picture here. They had a medical problem that made inducing labor an indication. So try to understand this. The next. What point does Professor Grohman make by comparing induced to spontaneous labor? So first one is induced labor and second one is spontaneous labor. So on the spot, labor as it happens. So induced labor and spontaneous labor. What point does Professor Grohman make by comparing induced to spontaneous labor? So what is the induced labor? What point is he telling? Induced labor is optional. Induced labor is optional. Induced labor is optional. If you want to take, you can take. Otherwise, you can go for spontaneous labor. Induced labor precedes a caesarean section. Induced labor precedes caesarean section. So that means after induced labor, precedes means comes before. So that means if induced labor you give, definitely there will be caesarean section. So it precedes means come before. Precedes means come before. Precede means C2 vocabulary. Write down. But you will write, I know. I will write down later. Precedes is a C2 vocabulary. To be or go before something or someone in time or space. That is induced labor. Okay. So induced labor goes before. Okay. Caesarean section. That means after induced labor, there will be precedes follows. Caesarean section follows induced labor. That means if you give induced labor, compulsory caesarean. That's already there in the first only. Inevitably leads to caesarean section. The first one. Spontaneous labor is safer. Spontaneous labor is safer. So is it talking about option? Is it talking about coming before cesarean section, or is it talking about safety? So that means induced labor is not safe. Induced labor is optional. Induced labor precedes cesarean section, or induced labor is unsafe, not as safe as spontaneous labor. So these are the points which you can think of. Very good. The number is increasing day by day. All the regular students are here. Then there are some new students also. Right. So you should understand the points there. What point does Professor Grohman make by comparing induced labor to spontaneous labor? So comparison. Induced labor is optional. So if you don't want induced labor, you can go for spontaneous labor. That's normal. Or induced labor, if you go, definitely you have to go for cesarean section. Or if you take induced labor, that means it is unsafe. So better spontaneous labor, which is safer. So these are the three things. This is how you have to analyze the points. Yes. So now better we'll see the first three questions. Then afterwards we'll see the another three questions. Now what I want to ask you is, I feel we have the points here. You can focus on these points. So we'll not change the slide. So shall we see three questions now? And afterwards go for another three questions. Three now and three later. Or 6 now and then go for audio. So what do you prefer? A is equal to 3 plus 3. 3 plus, because 3 slides only are able to come on this one. 3 questions only. So 3 plus 3. First will 3. A option is 3 plus 3. B option is all 6 will go for explanation. So now A or B will take 3 at a time, or total 6 will go and then will go. A means 3 at a time. Because all the questions, this will go off. If I'll take 6, no, these will go off. These marks, these lines, all will go off. Then everything will be clear. Come on, fast. Give A or B, whatever it is, majority vote, fast. Don't take your time. 10 seconds. My goodness, you cannot give even one A or B. I feel very sad. You don't want to give even one A or B. What is this? After teaching for 15 minutes, you don't want to write one letter, means it's shameful for me. Yeah. So, Joseph Palraj, no. So, Manjula, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9. Out of 18, 9 only. One more I need. See, 9 people are sleeping. Huh? So reluctant to give even one letter. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sheetal. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, 11. Very good. At least when somebody asks you, you have to respond. Yeah, finished. That shows how serious you are in obedience, how obedient you are. Huh? Obedience pays. Obedience is a great master. Okay. For simple thing only, if you are not obedient, then how can you be obedient to the OET? And how can you get marks in OET? Please learn to be obedient to your calling. Yeah. Now we are going to listen to these 3 questions at a time. Very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So Now, these three questions we'll listen.
Occupational English test. Professionals talking about aspects of their work. For questions 31 to 42, choose the answer A, B, or C, which fits best according to what you hear. Complete your answers as you listen. Now look at Extract 1. Extract 1, questions 31 to 36. You now have 90 seconds to read questions 31 to 36.
Inducing labour, that's breaking a woman's waters and making the uterus contract more strongly. Is it safe? It's an important question, and a large randomised trial has found the answer, at least for some women. The lead author was Bill Grohman, who's Professor of Obstetrics and Gynecology at Northwestern University in Chicago. I spoke to him earlier.
What was being tested was the concept that for many years there has been a belief, really deeply ingrained, that labour induction leads to a greater chance of cesarean delivery. The truth is, though, that it's based on relatively long ago studies for which, and I'm happy to describe why, there has been a fundamental misinterpretation of the results such that we misunderstood the clinical implications.
Well, let's just talk about this misunderstanding. And just to be clear, when we're talking about labour induction, we're talking about breaking the waters and putting up a drip which makes the uterus contract.
When we're talking about labour induction, there's not a single way to do it, but that typically you're right.
So was the problem in the past that labour induction was done on women in distress and therefore it was a biased population? They were already in strife when they were induced?
Well, I think it's actually two issues. One is the issue that you already referred to, which is that so often women were being induced for a medical reason. Something else was going on. Either the fetus was in need of being delivered or the mother herself had a complication that led to delivery being recommended. And clearly those were both situations that led to a higher chance of cesarean. But the other really important thing was that the studies that were done, and when I say studies, I very much mean observational studies, not trials, but studies where people went back and looked at records of women who had delivered, were women who were being induced were compared to women in spontaneous labor at the exact same gestational age. And I think it is undeniable that if you make that comparison, that there's a greater chance of cesarean among women who were being induced than women in spontaneous labor at the exact same gestational age.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know why it necessarily is, but it just is. It's something that's observed, something that when people studied it, not with the clinical trial, but with observational data, that happened, and very consistently.
But these are biased studies because they weren't randomised.
let me put it this way. Induction of labor is an option. I can choose to be induced or not to be induced. Spontaneous labor is not at the exact same day is not an option. Women may spontaneously have a labor, but also may not. They may not go into labor for another 2 weeks, and every week that goes by, the chance of cesarean increases. They may not go into labor and get to a point where induction of labor becomes recommended, but now it's an induction 1 or 2 or 3 weeks later. And so if you're making a clinical decision, and the clinical decision is, do I choose to be induced now or do I not? The alternative is not spontaneous labor on the same day.
It's waiting.
The alternative is waiting, which may end up in spontaneous labor, but may not, or may end up in spontaneous labor weeks later. And when observational studies were constructed like that, studies that reflected the actual clinical situation, you actually very consistently did not see the association of induction with cesarean delivery.
So now you've done a randomised trial where you actually get women and you randomise them to induction or waiting.
That's exactly right. So,
and this is in women who've never had a baby before.
That's right. And so that's, I think, an important point. Most of the concern with regard to cesarean delivery was with regard to women who had never had a baby before.
Yes. So we have these 3 points. Now let us see your answers. Let us check your answers. Okay. Question 31. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and submit. Come on, be active. Don't sleep. You don't have the time to wait for too long. We have to go for more questions. I can take more questions. Question 32. Yes, I'm waiting for 3 seconds, okay? Afterwards, we'll go for the next question. Otherwise, your question will be considered as next question. Yes, 3, 2, 1. Yes, question 32. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Submit. Okay. Yeah. I'm waiting for another 3 seconds. Three, two, one. Yeah. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and submit. Yes, question number 33. Submit your answers first. Yeah, that's fine. Now let us check our answers. Yes. 31. So 31 is here. 31 is B, is right answer. 31 is B. This is the right answer. Then 32 is a C. Is the right answer. 33 is A. Right answer. How many of you are? Yeah. So scores, update your scores fast. Don't waste my time. Don't waste everyone's time. Update your scores. Even if it is 0, it's no problem. Update your scores fast. He said you can go for induced labor, or you can avoid induced labor. If you want to go, you can. If you don't want to, that is your wish. That is your choice. Whatever he told. Huh? So you should remember those things. You should remember those things. Okay. Yes. You can see that there now. So you can see, first one is misunderstanding. People do not understand. They have a wrong understanding. They have a wrong opinion. All these things he was telling very clearly. Okay. Then second one. So complication, medical complication. That's what it is. Medical complication. Medical complication, they have something else. So that's why they want to go for induced labor. They have some medical problem. So that is why they are tending towards induced labor. Third one, it is an option. You can go or you cannot go. That's your choice. But you cannot ask for a, spontaneous labor immediately. You have to wait for that. If you want, you can take it now, induced labor, but otherwise you have to wait. You cannot have, it's not an alternative to spontaneous labor. For spontaneous labor, you have to wait. So induced labor is optional. That means you want to go, you can go. If you don't want to go, you cannot go. You can stop, avoid that things. So remember how clearly it is mentioned there. Huh? It's very clearly mentioned. So first one, it was a misunderstanding. People misunderstand. It was a misunderstanding. Okay. It was a misunderstanding. Then second one, it's a medical problem. If they have some medical problem for their safety, they can avoid labor pains. They have some other problem, so that's why they don't want to go for spontaneous labor. So that's it. Then next one, induced labor. Very clear, you need not go for this one also. If you have knowledge regarding your subject, just without, you don't need the audio also. Induced labor, if you want, you can otherwise leave it. You can go for spontaneous labor and wait, that's all. So this is the way how you can go there. So very good. Thank you for the students who have given me the answers, responses. Very good. Be very obedient, not to me, for yourself. Somebody is asking you something. He's trying to give you many things and you don't give even one thing, means there is no meaning. Better go and sleep. So next we'll go for the next one. 34 to 36. Now we are going for the 34 to 36 questions. Yeah. Analysis, perfect analysis is needed. You have to analyze the question. This much time I am explaining. If you cannot do this one, then in the exam, how you will do? Yeah. So now let us discuss the points here. What is the concern? Concern means issue, problem, difficulty, obstacle. Remember these words. These are very important. The synonyms will come there. The synonyms will come there. What is the concern with regard to the cesarean delivery truly about? Cesarean delivery. What is the concern with regard to the cesarean delivery truly about? Concern is about what? About what? About something. About something. The patient being experiencing childbirth for the first time. Already first time cesarean, second time no problem. They will not have that fear. So is this the first time they are going for cesarean? Concern cesarean delivery truly about first time. So I don't know how it is going to be. So first time you are facing some serious thing. The patient having comorbid conditions. So comorbid conditions. You know what is morbidity? Morbid. You know the meanings of these words. Morbid, very special word. Okay, too interested in unpleasant subjects, especially death, related to or caused by disease. Related to or caused by disease, morbidity. Specialized medical word, very high level word. Use it, learn it. The morbidity of a disease is how many people have it in particular population. So comorbidity, that means along with this, there is some other problem. Okay. Some other disease. So comorbidity. Yeah. The bad outcome when it comes to the baby's health. The bad outcome when it comes to the baby's health. So bad outcome, bad health conditions, bad results. So first time she is going to have this cesarean, and while she is taking cesarean, she might have morbid conditions. Comorbid. Co means along with this, there may be some other side medical sicknesses. Okay, she is going for cesarean. That is only one big thing. Along with that, she has some sicknesses, that conditions. Okay, concern regarding those conditions, or what is the concern regarding the baby's health? How is the baby's health going for cesarean before normal delivery? Spontaneous labor. Before that one, that means health may be, the baby is not fully grown. Maybe it should be in the baby, tube. So tube we call test tube. So they should be kept in intensive care in the tube and give artificial protection. Maybe may survive or not. Okay. What is about the health? improperly developed fetus. Okay. They're asking for an early delivery, full 9 months. Instead of that one, you're going in the 8th month or 8.5 months, even before it is 9 months. Maybe it is not 100% developed baby in the body, in the womb. So what will happen? So is it about the mother? Is it about the disease? Is it about the baby? So this is the way how you have to. The concern is regarding what? The concern is regarding the mother, or the concern is regarding the disease which she has, or the concern is regarding the baby's health. Mother is going for the first time, that is A. Mother has a different diseases, that is for B. Baby's health may be affected, that is C. Concern regarding the mother, or concern regarding the health conditions, or concern regarding the child. That's it. What nonsense is there in this? Nothing more than that. These are the 3 words. Concern about the mother herself, or concern about the disease which she has, comorbid conditions, or concern about the baby's health in the future. So concern is regarding what? Problem may be related to mother, or problem may be related to the disease, or problem may be to the child. This is what you have to bring out one word. If you can't bring out one word, then there's a waste of your time reading everything, and by the time the question will go off. What would Professor Grohman like to decrease the rate of? Caesarean sections, vaginal deliveries, unnecessary interventions. So caesarean sections. Okay. Induced deliveries means this is unnecessary interventions. Or vaginal delivery, spontaneous labor. Caesarean sections, spontaneous labor, or vaginal deliveries, or unnecessary interventions, or induced labor. So you can understand this one. So caesarean sections, vaginal deliveries, unnecessary interventions. Somebody is influencing there. So caesarean section means you know what is caesarean section. Vaginal delivery, you know what is vaginal delivery. And you know unnecessary interventions. What do you mean by unnecessary interventions? Necessary interventions and unnecessary interventions. Necessary interventions means the mother has some complication, and if this intervention is not there, maybe the life of the mother is at stake, or the life of the baby is at stake, or the life of both the mother and the baby, lives of the mother and the baby both are at stake. That is necessary intervention. No complication, you can wait, but still you want caesarean section, you don't want to delay. So that is, unnecessary intervention. So try to, he will never ask for necessary interventions or necessary interventions. Unnecessary interventions, why should we take unnecessary interventions? See the logic there. Caesarean sections, okay, if caesarean sections are necessary, you can go for that. Vaginal deliveries, okay, they are fine. You can go for that. Necessary interventions, yes, that also you can go for that. Unnecessary interventions. Necessary? When it is unnecessary, why should you intervene? So see the logic. The answer may be right, the answer may be wrong. That's not my problem. I'm just giving you a clue. Okay, just giving you a clue. You can go to the points like that one. Caesarean sections, yeah. Why should we decrease the caesarean sections when it is necessary? Caesarean section is necessary. So do it. You know, mother's life is very important. Children's life is very important. Mother and child, both are there. Mother will say, my child, save my child's life. No problem, I'll die. But everyone says, she's still a child. Okay, save the mother. So like that, many things may be there. So here, think reasonably. What he wants to decrease? Decrease the rate of what? Decrease the rate of cesarean sections. Cesarean section is good. Who said it is not good? When the labor is going to be complicated, better cesarean. So what is wrong in that one? How can we decrease when there is a need? No doctor will say, not even any human being will say. Common sense apply. Vaginal deliveries. Who will? That means you have to make the business for the doctors. The normal delivery is so vaginal delivery is decreased means normal cesarean deliveries should be more. That means complicated. So doctors will get more money. So is that what he is going to tell you? Will anybody tell like that one? Normal deliveries, spontaneous deliveries, vaginal deliveries. Anybody will say? So necessary interventions. So by default, you can understand what is wrong. Unnecessary. This word, this letter un defines what is required for you. Not necessary interventions. When it is not necessary, this is common sense. I don't know whether the answer is right. I'm not bothered whether the answer is right or wrong. But according to my common sense, when it is unnecessary, you should not intervene. The answer lies there itself. It is mere stupidity otherwise. If it is necessary, then you can intervene. You can intervene, you can go in between, and you can do whatever is needed if it is necessary. Your child is working properly, your son is playing well, your son is eating well. So why should you intervene and tell eat more, eat more, eat more? If he's not eating, then intervene. Yeah, you have to intervene. It is necessary because it is his growth that is more important. If he doesn't eat, he will not grow. So when it is unnecessary, so for example, somebody is eating too much, you have to intervene. Don't eat too much, you'll become obese. Afterwards, it will be a complicated situation for you. So avoid eating too much. So necessary, you have to intervene. When it is unnecessary, your son is not eating from outside fast food, and he is not eating less, he is eating normally, and he is growing well, everything is fine. Then why should you intervene? Don't involve in unnecessary situations, only in necessary situations. By default, it is understood there. What nonsense we want to think? There are many questions like this which you can analyze without listening to the audio itself. Yeah. Just apply your common sense, you'll get everything. Women who were randomized, women who were randomized, randomized to normal vaginal delivery. So women who were randomized, okay, random to normal vaginal delivery had dash outcomes when compared to those going through induced labor. Women who were randomized to normal vaginal delivery had dash outcomes. Outcomes means results when compared to those going through induced labor. So vaginal delivery had worse outcomes, better outcomes, the same outcomes, worse. Now here there are three-dimensional points. There are three-dimensional points. A is worse, B is better, C is the same. Same. A is worse means falling down. B is better means going up. So vaginal delivery, dash outcomes, negative outcomes, worse outcomes, bad outcomes, problematic results. There were a lot of complications. Normal vaginal delivery. Okay. You know that it is normal vaginal delivery. They had worse outcomes or better outcomes or the same outcomes. This is also common sense. I don't think you need to listen to the audio for this. Okay. Women women who were randomized to normal vaginal delivery, okay, randomized to normal vaginal delivery, had dash outcomes. They were made to go for normal vaginal random. They are selected, randomized for normal vaginal delivery. They did not go to induced delivery. Then what type of outcomes did they come when compared with others? They had worse. That means the induced labor had better outcomes. Induced labor is already artificial. You can know what it is. How can both have same outcomes you will get? So like that, you have to think those things. Dash outcomes, results. So positive outcomes or negative outcomes or equal outcomes, neutral. So that you have to go now. Right. So we are playing the audio. I'll take a little back, okay, so that you will be ready by then.
Labor at the exact same gestational age. And I think it is undeniable that if you make that comparison, that there's a greater chance of cesarean among women who are being induced than women in spontaneous labor at the exact same gestational age.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know why it necessarily is, but it just is. It's something that's observed, something that when people studied it, not with the clinical trial, but with observational data, that happened, and very consistently.
But these are biased studies because they weren't randomized.
Let me put it this way. Induction of labor is an option. I can choose to be induced or not to be induced. Spontaneous labor is not at the exact same day is not an option. Women may spontaneously have a labor, but also may not. They may not go into labor for another 2 weeks, and every week that goes by, the chance of cesarean increases. They may not go into labor and get to a point where induction of labor becomes recommended, but now it's an induction 1 or 2 or 3 weeks later. And so if you're making a clinical decision, and the clinical decision is, do I choose to be induced now or do I not? The alternative is not spontaneous labor on the same day.
It's waiting.
The alternative is waiting, which may end up in spontaneous labor, but may not, or may end up in spontaneous labor weeks later. And when observational studies were constructed like that, studies that reflected the actual clinical situation, you actually very consistently did not see the association of induction with cesarean delivery.
So now you've done a randomized trial where you actually get women and you randomize them to induction or waiting.
That's exactly right. So,
and this is in women who've never had a baby before.
That's right. And so that's, I think, an important point. Most of the concern with regard to cesarean delivery was with regard to women who had never had a baby before, women on their first birth. And I should also say this isn't about women who have medical complications for which there's a medical indication for induction. This was really a question of women who had no other reason, no standard reason to have induction recommended. Was it indeed true that induction would lead to an increased risk of cesarean, or might it be, as the more recent observational studies suggested, that induction didn't increase or even decrease the chance of cesarean and maybe also improve the outcome of their baby? And
sitting behind this is a concern about a high caesarean section rate, complications in second pregnancies. You're kind of condemning yourself or committing yourself to a second caesarean, and sometimes the babies don't do as well.
I think what we would say is that, for any woman who desires a vaginal birth, that we want to do everything we can to try to optimize that chance. And clearly, if someone can have an uncomplicated vaginal birth versus an uncomplicated cesarean, both in terms of short-term complications and long-term complications, including complications for future pregnancies, it's preferable to have a vaginal birth. What we want to get rid of are unnecessary cesarean deliveries that would have potentially preventable, and the health of the mother and her child or children are preserved.
Okay, so you took about 3,000 women, not a small study. Well, it's actually, 6,000 women.
Yeah.
3,000 were assigned to labour induction at 39 weeks, and 3,000 waited to see whether they went into spontaneous labour, and they were low risk, as you said. And your outcome was mother's health, baby's health, and caesarean section. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It was 3,000 women in each group, low-risk nulliparous women or women on their first birth, randomized to induction at 39 weeks, or expectant management or waiting. And not forever, because there's still an upper limit at which in the modern day is considered sort of acceptable practice, but till about 42 weeks would be the upper limit.
What did you find?
Well, what we found was that women who were randomized to labor induction had a significantly lower chance of cesarean delivery, so about a 15% relative risk decrease in cesarean delivery. Women who were randomized to induction of labor delivered babies who were significantly less likely to need extra respiratory support, like having a tube put down their throat to help them breathe or requiring high amounts of oxygen. Women who were induced had a lower chance of having high blood pressure problems at the end of their pregnancy, sometimes called preeclampsia. And also they reported less overall pain, and they reported a greater sense of control over their labor process and a greater sense of agency.
Well, that sounds pretty impressive. We'll come back to the implications in a moment. But one of the risks here is you get the scent of the patient.
So,
Now look at Extract 2. Extract 2. Questions 37 to 42.
yeah, now we'll check the answers. We'll check the answers. We'll see our guesses, how it is right or wrong. Okay, clear all drawings. Yeah, before that one. Yeah, 34, 35, 36. Okay. So question number, yeah, question 34. Yes, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and submit. Mohiba, don't send me direct messages, please. Because every time you people send direct message, I have to change it to normal. Everyone. Yeah. Thank you, Mohiba. The next. I'm waiting for 3 more seconds. Question. Yeah, 3 more seconds. Yeah, I know it's my mistake only. Yeah. Yes, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, submit. Common sense, you know, common sense. Many people lack common sense. That's why they don't get good marks. Okay, if you apply your common sense, you'll be the winner. Question 30. Yeah, last 3 seconds. Yeah, question 36. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, submit. So the regular students are Danya Skaria, Girja Franklin, Manjula Ravikumar, Meera Manoj, Muhiba Rusbehan, Maivati Homodudu, Ranita Pamarti, Sahaya Vinoka, then CG Joseph, Kukkula Srilata. These are our regular students. Very good. Attend the sessions very good. Regularly, these are our registered students who subscribe for the course and have joined. If anybody is interested, you can contact me on this number for regular classes, and rarely I'll give these sessions. So because This is the first session for listening, and yesterday was the first session for reading. I gave open sessions so that others can join. But from tomorrow onwards, all the regular students, don't share the link with anybody because these are personal classes. So from tomorrow onwards, right? So if anybody is interested to join the regular course, 9877867360. This is my number. So if anybody is interested, yeah, Sheetal, you can contact me on that number, okay? Or you can just type your number here. So those who are regularly going to attend the reading and listening sessions, getting the writing classes also, then they can only nurses, okay? Doctors are already filled, so only nurses places are there now. So now we are going to check the answers. Yeah, copy link. Yeah, this is my WhatsApp link. You can connect me for subscriptions. And our institute is going to get ready by the month end. So if anybody wants to join, you can join the offline course also. But offline course is little higher than online course. So you can contact me on this number for the fees and other details. Yeah. So now let's go for this answers. Let us check the answers. 34 is A. 34 is A. 34 is A. I have done this one, yeah. Next one, 35. 35 is C. 35 is C. 36 is A. 36 is A. So now let us see this. So that is what the answers are given. 35, 36A. Okay. Yeah. So 34 is A. The patient being experiencing childbirth for the first time. Okay. That's what is given. And what would Professor Grohman like to decrease the rate of? That is C, unnecessary interventions. Women who were randomized to normal vaginal delivery had outcomes. So randomized. What do you mean by randomized? Okay, that's the key word. Randomized means relating to experimental research where subjects are selected for particular treatments by chance. So that means they were forced to go for vaginal deliveries. Okay. So they were forced to go for randomized to normal. So they were selected to go for normal vaginal delivery. They were selected to go for normal vaginal delivery. That means if so there are some situations. So some were forced there, some were not forced. They were going to induced. So based on that one, if they had normal delivery, what happens? So normal vaginal delivery, in spite of randomized means selected option. Okay, that's the point. So now let us take the total score. Total score. I'll give you the explanation of these parts with the audio script later. Total score out of okay, no, out of 3. Out of 3. These 3 questions only. Total score out of 3. These 3 questions, 34, 35, 36. Yeah. Total score out of 6. Now, total score out of 6. Please submit your total score out of 6. So participate regularly for 15 days and definitely there will be improvement in the condition. So here you see by default, the patient being experiencing childbirth for the first time, then they will have concern. Comorbid conditions may be first time or second time or third time. Comorbid conditions means sickness, disease, maybe second time or third time or fourth time. So then they will not have this regard. Na? So first time only they will have fear. So this is normal. What is true is second time also they have cesarean section. Okay, cesarean delivery. Then they need not worry because first time they had conditions are there, morbid conditions now. But first time they had experience, so they do not have that much fear. So that's the point. So this is the way how you have to analyze the questions. Randomized to normal delivery. This is another complicated confusion here. Women who were randomized to normal vaginal delivery. So normal delivery is different. A spontaneous delivery is different and normal vaginal delivery. So randomized to normal delivery means, for example, there are some say 20 people. Out of 20 people, some people they have everything, but they will be tested for normal vaginal delivery. They can go for induced, but no, let us take them for test experiment sake. So then if they had gone for induced, then definitely they will be better. But now they were forced to go there. They were selected and you must go like this only for testing purpose. So in the future, they will take care. So now because of that one, then next time they will not allow like that. So randomized means selected. Out of 10 people, 20 people, they were selected. It's not natural. It's unnatural selection. That's all. So if they were given a chance, they would be, positive results. But because they were randomized selection, that means out of 20, take 10 like this, 10 like this, like that one, randomized. That's all. But if genuinely Induced is necessary, you have to induce. Genuinely spontaneous delivery, that is different. So that's a totally different point here. So logic, and you people know better that one because you are from the medical profession. So you have to think about these things. So 3 out of 6, 4 out of 6, 3 out of 6, 4 out of 6 was, sorry, is the logic working? I'm not asking 100%. I cannot expect 100%. So for you, how far the logic is working? Is it yes or is it no? Is the logic working? Yes or no? To some extent also, if it is working, yeah, it is working. It's not working, not working. So now it is 9:50 only. So how many of you want to go for another session? Farid Al-Hazimi. Is this Farid Al-Hazimi? Okay. Now the next question is, shall we go for another session? I'm ready for another session. I'm very dynamic now. Shall we go for another session? Then you write capital S for yes and capital N for no, to avoid confusion between the previous ones. Another session, yes or no? Yeah. Those who are interested for the subscriptions, new students. Okay. This is my number. Contact me on WhatsApp. Yeah. If you click on that directly, you can get into my number. Or this is my WhatsApp. Right. So what I will do is, very good. I'll give you a session, but the thing is you will do the test and you will send it to me. You send me a message personally, I'll send you a test and you can do that one. Then based on that one, we'll go for another session. So tomorrow's session, yeah, I'll give you a session. I'll give you the material, you can do it and you can follow it up with me. Then tomorrow's session, tomorrow session, 8 p.m. 8 p.m. We'll be reading part C. Tomorrow 8 p.m. reading part C. How many of you are available? How many are available? Just type your name. Yeah. Part C. Reading part C tomorrow. Sheetal Job. Sheetal Job tomorrow is for the subscribing students. Tomorrow it will be not for the guests. It will be only for subscribers. Yeah, you can type your name and number here, phone number here. Whoever is interested for the subscription, you can give your numbers here. So there are some new students. Let me greet them. Yeah. Suma Maria, very good. CG Joseph. Hello, CG Joseph. You are going for the exam. Don't miss any session, okay?
Okay, sir.
Don't miss any session from now onwards.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Right. And who else is going for exam on the 29th? And next month, the 13th. So all of them, don't miss any session. One day reading. So Monday is listening. So this is the regular timetable. Monday, listening. Okay. Monday, listening. That is what we have done today. Then Tuesday, reading. Wednesday, again listening. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday, reading. Then Friday, listening. This is for the regular students. Saturday is again reading. Sunday is off. Right. Here's the timetable. You can follow it. And all the students, yeah. Upula, you have sent your tasks, all the tasks, reading, listening, writing today. Very good. Follow it on a daily basis. And Siji, you have also submitted your reading, listening, writing. Very good. Okay. Then Pranita busy. Okay. Muhiba, busy. Ramadan. Meera Manoj, you have submitted your listening and writing. So reading, speaking over, reading finished. Reading you have to submit. Then Manjula, no. Girija, no. Danya, no. So submit your tasks on a daily basis, all of you. So I'm correcting the letters and I'm sending, and I'm taking the speaking sessions also whenever they are ready. So please contact me from morning 8 to evening 6 for the speaking and writing corrections, because after 6, so 8 o'clock we'll start reading and listening sessions on a daily basis. And now let's Danya. Hello, Danya Skaria.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Are you able to understand what I'm teaching? Is that little better for you now?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Ah.
So attend regularly and follow it up. Okay. Yeah.
Hi.
Next, Geeta. Hello, Geeta. Geeta, welcome to our channel. Can you unmute and say something? How did you find our sessions? What did you learn? Newcomers. Joseph Palraj, how was the session? Josephine Bindu, okay. Josephine Bindu, share your experience, please. Sheetal Job, yeah, Josephine, share your experience. How was the session?
Sir, it was very great experience. I never had like this experience before.
Okay, that's good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Then who else is there? Sheetal Job. Sheetal Job, share your experience, please.
Sir, it was a nice experience.
So what did you learn? New things?
Yeah, actually, I have a little bit regarding listening, but I think I feel comfortable with your teaching methods.
Okay, fine. Okay, so that's the final call today. Anybody wants subscriptions, you can get back to me on WhatsApp. There I will respond to you. So we'll meet tomorrow, same time, 8 o'clock. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.